I am very proud of the legislation that California Assemblymember Toni Atkins of San Diego has been authoring.
That's nice that you are proud. Could you give me an example of a piece of legislation she has authored?
Before I give you an example of her legislation, let me mention that first and foremost I am proud of her website, which displays her picture. It shows a very large, masculine-looking person wearing a blue dress and pearls. If you click on the biography button on her website, you will see down toward the bottom that she resides in San Diego with her spouse Jennifer. This makes me especially proud because even though the people of California declared that marriage would only be between a man and a woman, she has bravely and openly declared that her spouse is named Jennifer.
I am not really concerned about State Assemblywoman Toni Atkins of the 76th District's sexual orientation. If she is a woman and wants to declare that she is married to someone with a woman's name, that is her business. What about the legislation she is authoring? Can you give me an example of how her legislation is helping the citizens of California?
Oh yes, I can. Her most recent piece of legislation is AB 887. Existing law contains various provisions that define sex as including gender, and define gender as including a person's gender identity and gender-related appearance and behavior, whether or not stereotypically associated with the person's assigned sex at birth. This bill would make technical changes to those provisions by refining the definition of gender to also mean a person's gender identity and gender expression, and would define gender expression as meaning a person's gender-related appearance and behavior, whether or not stereotypically associated with the person's assigned sex at birth. The bill would also replace cross-references to definitions of gender with the referenced definitions refined in the same manner as specified above.
So you are saying that she is the author of AB 887. What exactly does this law do?
Well, it is quite simple really. This new law in California will protect Californians from being discriminated against in the workplace for the clothes they choose to wear. Finally, there will be social justice for all.
Social justice? Can you give me a specific example of what this new law will accomplish?
Sure, I can. Let us say, for example, that you are a small business owner in California. You own a bookstore. A Christian bookstore as an example. Let's say that you hire a man named Bob who presented himself very well at the interview. After a couple of weeks, Bob decides to come to work wearing high heels and a dress and woman's makeup. This legislation will provide social justice for Bob, because if you try to tell him to dress like a man, or if you fire him because your Christian customers are offended, then Bob will file a lawsuit and take your business away from you. This is true social justice. This type of legislation will promote business growth in California.
Can you give me another example of her legislation?
I would be happy to. She authored AB 499, which deals with changing the age of consent for children to receive medical care to age 12.
AB 499. Changing the age of consent for children to receive medical care. What does this legislation do?
This bill provides social justice for the children of California. It allows children who are at least 12 years of age to consent to medical treatment for sexually transmitted diseases without their parents' knowledge. As you know, the parents of children often can get in the way of true social justice for their children. Assemblywoman Toni Atkins knows best what is good for the young children of California.
Let me see if I have this right. Toni Atkins, Assemblywoman of the 76th District of San Diego, believes that children who have reached 12 years of age can receive medical treatment without their parents' knowledge for sexually transmitted diseases. Is this right?
Yes. You see, as a stupid homophobic parent, you don't realize that your daughter is sexually active at 12 years of age, and therefore your daughter needs protection from the state of California. She needs to be able to receive treatment for her sexually transmitted diseases without your knowledge. You really don't need to pay any attention to this legislation. Just sleep well at night knowing that Toni Atkins knows best what is good for your child.